Do you ever get depressed, Ian, when you think about how there will never be another game as good as Sonic 06?
No, because we got Shadow Generations, where they put all of the good parts of Sonic 06 and put them in there.
I think there was one notable omission from that. Ian, you might.
Well, if only there a story we could talk about where that character was in it.
I mean, I don't think Elise is in here, but I mean that works. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to Sonic Comic Chaos. I'm your host, Silver Race One. Joining me as always is my co-host Ian Waffles. Ian, say hi.
Sonic, help me.
What?
There you go. I'm Elise. I'm in the podcast.
What? I don't think she says that in the game.
She never says Sonic, help me. Crazy.
No.
Sonic helps her a lot. She should say that more.
Well, you know. Well, he's too good. She never has to ask. Anyway, point being, I was literally just playing that earlier today. I got a new 4K monitor recently, and so naturally, I was like, "What game needs to go on this?"
Project 06.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I did play. I did play a bit of that. Only because for some reason the emulator it'll do 144p. Wait, not 144p, the bigger one, 1440p. But when I try and boost it up to 4K, it doesn't even necessarily lag. It just like runs slower, which I assume is its version of lagging. No one listening cares about this. Point being, Sonic 06, good game. I like it. But we're back, folks. For you guys, well, it has been a while because I haven't put out the Dark Mirror yet. But this won't come out too long after Dark Mirror. It'll come out the usual like after 2 weeks, so it won't. But for us, it's been a while. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to be back talking about some Sonic, some good hog.
No, Ian.
What do you mean, what, Ian? What's it? We call him the hog all the time.
Okay, yeah, but you went, I just love to get some good hog.
I didn't say it like that. You said it like that right now.
Yeah, okay. It was implied. This intro is going off the fucking rails.
The worst intros ever. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sonic Comic Chaos. I'm your co-host, Ian Waffles. Joining me by my evil overlord, the Silver Race. And we're going to talk about Scourge.
Yep, we sure are. Anyway. But first, we have to read your comments.
Yes. World famous segment.
Yes, in our world famous segment, Ian and Ace read your comments. Your comments specifically. You listening to this? Yours. I mean, maybe probably not statistically. I only picked out 3, so statistically probably not yours actually. But I'm just gonna read the comment anyway. From Noshita Delita on the Imperial City arc. At the moment, they timestamped the moment where Blaze calls Silver naive. And I was like, Ian, that's the thing. That's the thing I know. They say, I rolled my eyes at the thing. Unfortunately, lol. I don't like any 06 Blaze mixing into my Rush Blaze, but callbacks, some character nitpicks, and pairing her up with Silver every opportunity are things I've been forced to accept. That's interesting. Because, like, I guess I get that. Because obviously 06 Blaze and Rush Blaze are very different.
Yeah.
But I guess they're not... Are they really in terms of, like, personality? Well, I mean, Blaze doesn't really show much personality in 06 is the thing.
Well, I mean, like, that's kind of the point, though, is, like, Blaze's story in the Rush games, or at least Rush 1, is about kind of, like, accepting, like, it's okay to, like, ask for help and, like, kind of allowing herself to be open, even though she's been through all these problems. Whereas 06 Blaze is Silver's friend.
Yeah, and that's
so regardless of if the personality is similar, the character, the story of how they're similar, right? Like, let's say they're both headstrong. Well, there's a difference between Blaze's headstrong in 06 because that's her personality versus Blaze's headstrong in Sonic Rush because she has this trauma that she has to overcome, and the reason she's able to kind of like be better for that is because of her relationship with Sonic, and I really enjoy that. So I can definitely understand where they're coming from because Rush Blaze has basically been deleted. So,
well, yeah, I mean, has she? I would argue Rush Blaze, that like the only thing 06 Blaze gets is that like she's friends with Silver, and like you'll occasionally get like a wink and a nudge about like, oh, I've been in Crisis City before. But like all of her like lore and characterization is more or less taken from Rush.
I would say it's more so it's just not really tapped into anymore. So maybe what they're saying is like, but what they do tap into is that she has a friendship with Silver, you know?
That's fair.
And maybe they would like that more tapping into like that journey she went on, which I think the Clock Tower one kind of leans into that. But even then, like I can understand the disconnect. So
yeah, they wish she was friends more with Marine. Has Marine shown up at all in IDW? Actually,
yeah,
no.
she shows up in annuals where she's like, "I'm Marine, I'm here."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for the comment. From Soul Searching on the Sonic 3 review, which I gotta say, we had a lot of good, interesting discussions in that. I really thought I was just gonna get fucking lambasted in that comment section. But no, we had a lot of really interesting, varying opinions on that. I might actually come back to that at some point because I only screenshot this one. So, Ian, what am I doing?
You're good.
Anyway, from Soul Search Chinp. I feel like you guys missed the opportunity to mention Sonic the Hedgehog making Shadow See the Light, Archie style. But I don't know, maybe I'm just really crazy about Archie Sonic Adventure 2.5. Hey, I am really crazy about Sonic Adventure 2.5. Like, I love that story. But
have we reviewed that one?
No. We're definitely gonna have to sooner rather than later, though.
I genuinely did think this was gonna be a moment where, like, Ian, do you even exist on this fucking podcast? Does your micro little penis brain remember anything but the hog? All right. But I'm glad you didn't say that to me. You're a good friend.
Jesus Christ. It's Ian's fault we didn't mention it. Anyway, and then from the Ezekiel 300, also on the Sonic 3 review, I have to admit I'm starting to lose hope that we'll ever see Sally in anything ever again after watching the Sonic 3 movie. And the Ezekiel 300, I'm very glad you commented this because it gives me an opportunity to stand up on my soapbox. I'm setting it down here, dusting it off. I'm standing up, Ian. Okay. And to say something that will help you, help all of our listeners, help everyone who is in any way invested in any fictional like franchise. I have a mantra that you would all do well to remember. And that's that canon is bullshit because it's all fake.
Yes. Fan fiction. Yeah, I was literally going to say, if you didn't, I was going to be like, hey, fan fiction.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing, right? Is it's like, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as any, Sally fan is concerned, Sally very well could have just rocked up to Sonic's birthday party in Generations right after they got plopped down from the Time Eater and been like, wow, well, I'm glad I missed that crazy shit. Like, as far like Sally, in the game universe, she can just be over there. Sonic goes and he visits her between games. That's just a thing. It's canon that he does that. Like ultimately, that's just the way this shit works. Is that it's canon because I say so, because these characters aren't fucking real. Yeah, like sure. It's a running thing on the show where I talk about all the evidence for Shad Amy being canon, which it obviously is. But the real reason Shad Amy's canon? Because I say it is. Which is just as valid as anything else.
Well, the only thing that separates it is that, obviously with canon, what's canon, that is useful insofar as like people need to be on the same page about things, obviously.
Sure.
Like, if you're talking to someone about like, why do you like Amy? You would need to establish like, I'm talking about why I personally like Amy, and not like, let's discuss how Amy's in the games, because that's usually what people are going to, baseline on. But in terms of like what you can enjoy, because I find a lot of people kind of feel like, well, if it's not canon, then I can't enjoy it as much because it's not real. And you should not let the evil corporation decide what's real. And basically the mantra should be, if it's good, it's good. If you like it, you like it, And so like, if for example, my favorite Sonic game is Project 06. That's not a real Sonic game, but it's my favorite Sonic game because it has Sonic in it, and it's a Sonic game because I fucking say so. But if I were to talk to someone about like, what's your favorite Sonic game, we would, you need to understand, okay, but what's like, when we're talking about that, we mean like canon. What are the canon, but what's your favorite Sonic game, right? And that's all it's really valuable for. Otherwise, go crazy. Just enjoy the fan fiction and stuff. And I wouldn't really trust modern Sega to do Sally well anyway. So,
Yeah.
go towards creators that you think could do a good job. Or maybe you could be that person, don't count yourself out. So
Oh, certainly. I mean, there's like Archie Sonic Online. I just recently started reading Sonic and the Freedom Fighters. That's a cute little fan comic. There was one that people online were going crazy for this last week. I think it's called like the Forgotten Fighters or something. It was just like a little thing on Twitter people like. Like there's plenty of like Sally content out there. And again, just in terms of like your headcanon or whatever, you just be like, yeah, Sally's over there. And like, because again, ultimately, again, the canon's bullshit. Like I very firmly believe this because with Sonic, there's a clear example of this where they were like, there was a very firm stance on there are two different worlds in Sonic the Hedgehog. There's the human world and then there's Sonic's world. And the fan base collectively went, no, there's not. And then eventually Sega went, yeah, you're right, there's not. So it's like, and that's not to say that if you just believe that Sally's canon hard enough, eventually Sega will do it. But that is to say that like what is canon is literally like one pen stroke away from being not canon or being canon. So just enjoy whatever is the real thesis of this.
Yep, I agree.
But
I do understand the idea of like, for example, it feels very, very validating the idea that Shadow is now on the big screen and like normal people know who he is and like him. That feels very good as a Sonic fan of like, wow, like now the general public like kind of can see what I can see, right? Or they have a version that they can see,
Right.
And so I can understand it from that perspective. Like, man, I just wish like the Sonic fan, like if Sally was in a real thing, more fans would be able to like fall in love with her, right? Because it would be an official thing, so people would take her more seriously, right? So I totally understand that as well. There's a lot of different layers to it. So.
Oh, certainly. That is not to discount at all, wanting Sally to come back in official material. But again, like Ian said, and like I've said before, just based on what we got from her in Reboot, and I don't think she was done terribly in Reboot, but I don't think she was Sally in Reboot, if that makes sense. I think she was...
The things that I enjoyed about Sally were not there, for sure.
She was very much watered down, and I imagine she'd be even more watered down if she were to come back. So it's just like... I don't know. Like, I'm sure I'd be happy if she did, just on like a pure like monkey brain. That's a thing I know level. But yeah, like I said, I'm getting off the soapbox. All right, hold on. All right, I'm down. Okay, I think it's time to talk about the hogs.
Yes,
there's a lot of hogs in this one because
there's
it's Hedgehog.
many. It's a hog havoc.
Yes. So let's just hop right into Archie Sonic the Hedgehog number 195, Hedgehog Havoc Part 1. Now, when we last left our heroes, I literally edited this episode yesterday. What happened? Okay, so the Moebius, which is anti-Mobius, but it's a new name. They came to Mobius, no E, and they were like, "We're taking this bitch over." And they were like, "Oh no!" And so they sent Sonic and Amy to Moebius with an E to find something that could help them beat Scourge, who's the leader of the Moebius people, the Suppression Squad. And they found Amy's evil doppelganger, Rosie the Rascal. And so they're like, I guess we're going to get her to hit him really hard, but we got to get him back here for him to be hit really hard, which worked out because his team had betrayed him. And so they were like, Scourge, get in the portal. And so they pushed him through. And so Rosie the Rascal was like, I'm gonna get his ass. And then there was, and then Robbo the Hedge, who is Amy's cousin, who looks very too much like Sonic for Sonic to be a person she's in love with.
Indeed.
He was by the lake with his wife Marianne, and his son Little John was like sleeping somewhere because he's Robin Hood, and he was by the lake. And then a new mysterious hedgehog. He's silver, but we don't know that yet. There's question marks by his name in the intro thing. He showed up, and he was like, "Hey, I gotta find Sonic. Where's Sonic? Bring me to Sonic."
And now we're here. Genius.
Yep. Anyway, so we open with Sonic's family. The hedgehog residence, where Nicole is like, so in case you didn't read the last issue, here's what happened. And basically, and we get another in a long line of people going because the parents are like, yeah, oh well, what's happening to your son? And Nicole goes, knowing your son, I bet he's got everything under control. And it's like, again, Knuckles said something very similar like last time. And it's like, why is Sonic known for having things under control? Is this a thing?
He does always win, even when he dies.
That's fair, I guess. But yeah, so then we come back to Moebius, where Rosie the Rascal is trying to bludgeon Scourge to death. And there's a fun bit where Sonic's like, "Wow, she's crazy and you're crazy. I can't tell you two apart." And Amy's like, "I'll kill you."
Sonic's such a fucking asshole. I love him.
He is. It's great.
It's a piece of shit. Like his face whenever she's like, beware, cutie, I'll smash you next. And then he's like, yeah.
Yeah, look at his fucking face on the
great.
top of this page.
He's terrible. I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Bunny's like, I'm not a hedgehog, so I gotta get the fuck out of here, or else the arc's name isn't gonna make sense. Evil Bunny, anti-Bunny, Buns. And so she goes, she leaves. There's a hole in the ceiling. She flies through the hole. And then the Sonic graphic novel checklist shows up in these scans. That's fun. Ian, have you pre-ordered Sonic the Beginning?
No.
Damn. I actually really like that cover because it's the one that has the 3 Sallys on it.
It's cute. It's a good one.
It's cute. But yeah, then we cut to Mobius, New Megapolis, the Egg Dome, where, as someone who works in computer science, Eggman says something that makes no sense, where he goes, a few more lines of code, Snively, and then the latest Metal Sonic will be operational. That's not how that works.
That's how it works in the Eggman Empire.
No, you don't. No, code it's kind of a quality over quantity thing, Ian. You don't just, we just need 3 more lines of code here and it's good. No, the code actually, the function of the code is the more important thing. You don't just write more of it.
Maybe he means 3 more lines of functionally good code.
Yeah, you would just say, I gotta write this like loop in here and then it'll be good to go. You wouldn't say, I gotta write 3 more lines. How does he even know how many more lines of code?
Because he's fucking Eggman.
But then why would you say it like that?
Because he's stupid.
But he's building a Metal Sonic.
I don't know, bro. You're probably right.
I mean, I do have a degree, so I would hope.
Sorry, Eggman. I don't need to tell you how to take over the world, but that's not what you're doing. You know what Eggman is? Eggman's the kid in class who knows how to solve the math problem, but he can't tell you how. So he just says bullshit.
Yeah. And then Snively has a line where he goes, if you just like built more of these Metal Sonics instead of sending them out one at a time, that you might like win once.
Yes. If you made like, I don't know, more than 2, maybe an army, since it's so fast and easy.
Yeah, which is funny because like Chuck already did that. You'd think, if anything, making just 1 makes less sense because he already you have the model. It's make a bunch of them. Oh
yeah. Well, and I like this. So obviously, you could just read this as like, haha, Flynn is bringing up how nonsensical Eggman's plans are, but this has actually been like a recurring thing since his loss in 175 is people being like, for example, whenever he's gonna go get Enerjack, Snively's like, or I don't know, you could just like, I don't know, fucking kill all of them when their shield's down. That might be really helpful. Instead of making a giant beam out of like ultimate power, you just like, I don't know, kill them right now, And he's like, well, shut the fuck up, Snively. Yeah. And then Dimitri is like, hey, Eggman, so since like you have literally nothing to do and you made Metal Scourge in 5 seconds, could you like make 5 robots to replace like 5 of my guys? That could be helpful. And he goes, no, fuck you. So like, so like they're really leaning into the idea of like Eggman's kind of insanity in the sense of not just like, oh, he's crazy, so he's making bad decisions, but like he is so desperate to like fucking like one up Sonic. It's like, no, I can't just make like an army of Metal Sonics. I have to make the Metal Sonic that's going to kill him. Shut up, Snively. And this really like it's just really smart because this is obviously building to something as the story is going. But I really like that even when you're reading these older stories, Snively is there to remind you that like Flynn is in on the idea that Eggman's kind of messing up. It's like, also you got to remember, Eggman is stuck in one base, and instead of building up that base and doing anything, he's just making 1 robot, sending it, and then eating popcorn. It's like, yeah, kill Sonic this time. Fuck, why didn't it work?
Yeah.
So that's good stuff.
It's pretty great. And then we get some fun references. So he gets an engine. He has Snively grab him an engine that is called the SXSU-41,
Yes.
or 401, which is a fun reference because this Metal Sonic is going to appear in Sonic X issue number 40 and Sonic Universe issue 1.
Yep.
Which
Very cute.
Yeah, which we will be covering. Probably not next time, but another time, whenever we talk about the first arc of Sonic Universe.
And also, he's like, why don't you use the classic 125 or whatever, like the original issue?
Yeah,
25
the
model.
STH. Yeah, the STH 25 from the CD adaptation. Well, the CD adaptation was issue 25, so that's why it's the yeah. Shut up, Ian. Anyway,
stuff.
Yeah, and then Snively's like, I wonder if my Discord GF messaged me back. But yeah, and then
he does literally say that. So
well, not literally, but close enough. He does the 2008 equivalent of that.
Yeah.
And then Eggman's like, "Hey, Metal Sonic, go! Can you find Sonic?" And then Metal Sonic is like, "Bye." And then
it's really funny.
He just leaves. He just teleports away. And he's like, actually, I oh my god, this is so fucking funny. So Metal Sonic connects the Eggnet, which I just realized, isn't it? What's it called recently? Isn't it still called the Eggnet in like Sonic Frontiers?
I think so. Yeah, I think they kept that.
So that's fun. He's like, I searched the Eggnet, target not found. And so his first inclination is to jump realities. Which, I mean, he's right.
Well, he was also literally given a machine that lets him warp realities. He knows like a thing he can do. So he's like, oh, he's not here. He must be there.
I guess. And Eggman's like, well, you were supposed to, what the fuck?
He's like, motherfucker, no.
It's like, you were supposed to wait.
It's really funny. Like the paneling's so good. Like Snively's like, oh, huh. And he's like, stupid fucking robot.
And Snively's like, I'll just be over there. Because Eggman's like throwing his toolbox.
It is really funny though, because again, like this is the part that shows like he was kind of rushed and put together. Because later in the Shadow Saga, he goes to the Blaze world and he's like, I wonder if there's a Robotnik on this planet. And he just goes to like Blaze's town and he's like, hey, is there a Robotnik here that can give me orders? It's like, motherfucker, you have like the OG. Why are you looking for new ones?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure enough.
So it's just very funny that he just because like that one very much because we'll see it in this arc, he very much follows like again like a processing thing where he's just like Sonic's like, hey, want to help? And he's like, give me a sec. I think that would work. So he takes things very literally.
Yeah. But then we cut back to my boy.
Robbo the Head. Let's go.
Yeah, of course. Also, okay. I have so many questions about Robbo the Hedge.
Okay.
So first of all, did Amy used to like live here?
Yes.
Like, okay. Why doesn't she talk like a dumbass then?
Because she's a baby and she read Sonic's lingo and he was like, that's hip and cool. So she talks like Sonic. There you go. That's my headcanon.
Wait, what do you mean she read? So
because Sonic and her were pen pals.
They were okay. So her pen pal influenced her speech patterns more than every other person she knew around her in her real life.
Have you not met Zoomers and Gen Alpha?
Yes, but that's different. When it's pen pal.
When your pen pal is Superman, I would start talking like Superman.
But she doesn't talk like Sonic though. She doesn't say dumbass shit like he does.
Yeah, she says way cool.
Point being, also he just talks like a dummy. Like, at one point, I think he says "Gadzooks."
Gadzooks. Yeah.
One of my notes just says "Shut up, Rob." I don't know what that's in context to, but he's like, Silver rocks up. He's like, hey, I need to find Sonic. Also, there's this fun thing. His speech bubble has like a blue ring around it, implying which normally would imply like there should be some like effect on his voice, but there's not, presumably. Like, unless, do you think? Oh my god,
he has future breath.
He has future breath. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think maybe he's using his powers to like make his voice like echoey, like make it sound like more intimidating?
Yeah, it's a cool effect, but it's very funny. They just drop it eventually. They're like, "This is stupid.
Yeah.
What does this even mean?"
Yeah. But he's like, "Where's Sonic? I need to find Sonic." And Rob is like, "Well, he's kind of far from here." And Silver's like, "Don't worry, check this shit out." So, and then he makes a big warp ring, which actually this is interesting. So at this point, the only people we've seen use the warp rings are probably like echidnas, right?
Yeah, basically.
Because I know Knuckles tends to use one. Yeah,
Kind of
so
a
it's so well, actually, that's even more interesting. So we'll later find out that his mentor is a certain echidna. That's interesting.
Indeed.
But yeah, so he's like, all right, let's go to Freedom HQ, or let's go to where Sonic should be. And so we go back to Freedom HQ where everyone's fighting with each other because Sally's like, you've sent my not quite boyfriend into a parallel dimension with his psychopath evil doppelganger. What is wrong with you? And then her counterpart Alicia is like, I mean, I don't know, it seemed to work. Like look, the plan was get rid of Scourge. Is Scourge here?
No,
I think not.
Yeah.
Like, so the plan worked, did it not?
Yeah.
But yeah, here's where Rob says Gadzooks. And also Rob is king, apparently.
Yes.
What is he king of?
Snottingham.
No, he's not.
Yes, that's
you made that up.
That's what it's called.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Google it. Type in Snottingham Archie Sonic.
How do you spell it?
SNOTTINGHAM. Probably. I probably messed something up. Live reactions.
Snottingham Castle, the Sonic Wiki Zone. Okay. Snottingham Castle, sometimes referred to as Lord Hood's Fortress.
Yes, we'll get to him way later.
A fucking name. Is a location that appears in the Sonic the Hedgehog series and its spin-offs. And later became the headquarters. Blah blah blah. History. Is there any? No. Okay. Okay, fine. You win, Ian. It's real. I'm not happy about it, but I accept it.
I like that one really blew your mind. You're like, you're a fucking liar.
It's called Snottingham. Like, what? If I were king of Snottingham, my first royal decree would be, okay, we're renaming this shit.
Changing the name.
It's not even like a pun. It's not like Hedgehogingham or something. It's nothing. It's named after snot. Anyway, Silver's here.
We're 30 minutes into this podcast.
No, we're not. Oh, God. We are 10 pages into the first issue. Okay. Remember when you wanted to do the whole King Scourge arc in one go?
Yeah, that was a stupid past me.
Yeah. You were. You should feel bad about yourself. Anyway, Silver's here. Okay. We get an interesting thing where they're like, Silver and Rob are like, hey, where's Sonic? And Sally's like, oh, he's on Moebius. And Silver's like, oh, Moebius. And they're like, you know about Moebius? He's like, yeah, unfortunately, I do.
Yes, and this is never elaborated on again.
Yeah, I was about to say, from what I remember, this is never paid off.
I know. I need someone before the Bumblecast died. We should have asked Flynn.
I mean, what I imagine is he's just doing the thing you do with future characters, where you just say like, yeah, they've been around. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, obviously he's been checking like other different parts of time, so it's like it's fine. I don't care, but it's just interesting that it's not something Flynn brought back, if that makes sense. Because
yeah,
like if he has a character say something, he usually brings it back pretty quickly, or like within the span of like before preboot ended.
Okay, you know what, Ian? Where this podcast's already off the rails. Let's try and headcanon. What do you think happened to him on Moebius? What wacky Moebius adventure do you think Silver got into for this?
Silver is like really stoic in this story. but like, you know, he's actually kind of like, he gets a lot goofier as the stories go on. My headcanon is that he, you know, he's trying to be a big badass, right? So I think he went to Moebius, he got his ass kicked, and nobody remembers him because it was so fucking easy to do. So he's like, Moebius, I remember a guy I fought there once. And it's like, oh, you got into a fight? It's like, yeah, you should see the other guy. And then
Wait, so Silver went there and lost the fight?
yeah, he went there and Scourge just mugged him, and Scourge doesn't remember him.
Wait, so he traveled to Moebius and then back in time in Moebius?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I accept this.
All right.
Okay, but yeah, it is also fun, like you said, how in this arc, Silver is like, he's got like his badass face on, but then later on you see him kind of be like there's a point where someone goes like, oh, hey, nice job, kid, and he goes like, oh, yeah, cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But so he's like, all right, let's go to Moebius. I gotta pay back Scourge. Which is funny. So he opens the portal, and then Rob is like, all right, I guess I'll go with him because the story's called Hedgehog Havoc. And they go through, and then Sally's like, Tails, I need the portal up and running so we can go help them. You could have gone, hey Rob, could you hold the portal open? Could you hold the elevator for us for a moment? It's just so we can just all come with. Like, granted, no, because they know super warp rings. This is a thing. This is a well-established thing. So they wouldn't like be like, oh, I don't know where that thing's gonna fucking take us. Like, no, just go through the anyway.
Well, they called just like leave immediately. So.
I guess
because they come in, they're like, hello, where's Sonic? It's like, Rob, what are you fucking doing? I don't know. Bye.
They're like, Sonic, why are you asking where Sonic is?
That'd be really funny if they're like, why is Sonic dressed like that?
Okay.
That'd be a really good show. The suppression squad are like, holy shit, Scourge is back! He killed Sonic and he's wearing his ah!
The problem is you can't have any of them say that, because once you tug on that thread, the whole sweater comes loose.
Oh yeah. Killed attention too. So
yeah. Anyway, so we come back to Moebius, where Sonic's fighting Scourge, and who shows up? But Shadow.
Yes.
This just happens, right? There's no other book where we see the beginning of this little journey he's on.
Obviously, we'll learn that it started in like the universe story, but no, it is literally just like, hey, am I in the special zone? No. Oh, do you want to like beat up Scourge? Yes.
Yeah, I love this interaction. So I love Archie Shadow so fucking much. Okay, so
yeah,
he gets there, and he's like, and basically, Sonic and Scourge are both like, the fuck is this guy doing here? But it's also funny because if you recall, in Scourge's debut, quote unquote, where he was debuted as Scourge, Shadow was there, and you had a big like 3-way fight between the three hedgehogs. So the fact that like the three of them are kind of coalesced together again before shit gets out of hand is actually really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So then yeah, Shadow's like, so this is not a special zone, and Sonic's like, no. And he's like, hey, why does Scourge have a crown? And the quote is, I mean, you already said it, but he goes like, yeah, Scourge conquered the planet, and he wants to invade our planet. Can you help me beat him up? And Shadow goes, sure.
Yeah. By the way, so the way I always read this is because like he sees Scourge, and he doesn't ask like, oh, Scourge is here, or like whatever. Like he doesn't assess the situation. He just goes, why does he have a crown? As like, and my interpretation of that is that he's genuinely like offended. Like, why is he wearing that shit? It looks terrible on him. And not like, or like, why does he have it? Like, he does not, why does he have a crown? This interaction's like, why does he have a crown? Oh, he tried to blah, blah, blah. You want to help me beat him up? ... Sure.
Yeah, it's
so I love it. I just love that he has latent hatred for Scourge.
Yeah,
and then Scourge is like, dude, weak.
I love it.
Now we're just hitting the back-to-back comedy section.
It's great. I love it. But yeah, and then and Shadow's even like, what's Moebius? What did you just say to me? Like, that sounds really stupid.
This is also why, if anyone ever tells you that they're said the same, they're wrong. Because otherwise, what Sonic just said is Mobius, whatever.
Yeah.
He has to be saying it a different way. So
do we know why is it Moebius? Like, why is does adding the E make it more evil? Is the E like symbolic?
Scourge named it that. Who knows?
Right, but like I'm saying outside of the book, why did Ian Flynn name it that?
Let me look up what a Moebius is. Today is Ian and Silver Ace. Look at the internet.
Yes.
Oh, it's just another way to write Mobius, basically.
Wait, so then shouldn't it just be pronounced Mobius?
It can't be because they say it as two separate things.
Oh yeah, okay. And Metal Sonic shows up, and he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, there's multiple priority contacts here," because obviously the Eggman Empire isn't really a fan of any of these guys.
Yeah.
So then we get like a bit of like a standoff between them. And I didn't even really catch this line, but Shadow's like, the robot is welcome next to your immature. So I like the idea that he's like, no, Sonic's cool, but fuck this guy though. Like,
oh yeah, no, Shadow likes Sonic. They're friends.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay, Ian. Well, no, I think our headcanon's fucked because when Silver walks into the castle, he goes, "This doesn't really change at all." Presumably referencing the fact that 200 years in the future it looks exactly the same, which is say dilapidated and crappy.
Damn. Well, maybe Scourge is immortal. He beat him up there too.
Let's go with that.
There you go.
But yeah, and then so Amy runs back with Rosie the Rascal because she's just chasing her around at this point.
She broke her hammer in half, mind you, by the way.
Yeah, but she gets it back.
I know, it's just funny. It explodes in the background.
It is. But yeah, and so all the hedgehogs plus Metal, I guess, coalesce, and we just get a bit where everyone is just gets a line where
they're all talking over each other.
Yeah, and it all coalesces in Scourge going, "Everyone get out of my castle!"
Yeah, so the thing I want to point out, because I pointed out this, so you haven't seen my Scourge video, but in that video we kind of point out like, so this issue is like really funny. It's probably one of like the funniest like Archie Sonic issues, because it just so commits to the bit in the most like unapologetic way possible. Like everyone shows up at just the right time, right, to like just interrupt the story. It's the most like contrived situation you could ever have, and it's great, and like it's clearly leaning to that comedy. But Flynn actually is doing something here, like big picture wise, whether he intended to or not. I think he would have had to, because a lot of it is just tied into this. But so Scourge is a character, right? Is that he's a Sonic knockoff, right? And his whole storyline is that he wants to like be he wants to be better than Sonic and like kind of over that. And he's also like kind of saying like, I'm a king, like I'm all really important. And if you notice, the thing that keeps happening is he keeps trying to have his fight with Sonic, and other Sonic recolors from either the older comics or the games show up and steal the spotlight. And he's like, pay attention to me. And so like it really like genuinely like the story itself is like feeding into the narrative of what Scourge is all about, which is his insecurity that he's just like some lame Sonic knockoff, by literally having all the Sonic knockoffs come in and make his story a comedy.
It is great.
So it's really smart. So
yeah. And speaking of Flynn seeing the bigger picture, you may notice when we cut to this cool page of everyone fighting, right? So what happens? So what do you mean, Ian?
Continue.
So Sonic goes to fight Scourge on his own. Robbo the Hedge goes to fight Metal on his own. But what do Shadow and Amy do?
Make out. I know it was a weird panel. It's not canon. All right.
Shadow is so offended that this other version of Amy would dare attack his girl that the two of them team up to take her down.
You're correct.
And Shadow is so focused on this, in fact, that he almost gets jumped by Metal Sonic. If not for Rob, he was about to get fucking clawed. By the way,
the Rob panel is really funny because it tinks off Metal Sonic, and Metal Sonic just looks at him like, "You motherfucker."
I like to think he just froze in the air like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Petrified with fear.
Like the eyes just like slowly moved over to Rob.
If this were animated, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is,
here's the thing that technically kind of happens later when Sonic goes, "Yo, Metal me, time out," and he's like frozen in place.
Yeah. Anyway, point is, Shed Amy's canon, but
And Ian Flynn said so.
exactly. And also, you just get a cute image of Silver in the background where he's just. We've all been here, where it's like you're just trying to get a word in edgewise, but there's just like so much shit going on. Where it's like, wait, can we? Okay, so am I supposed to park over there, or wait, no?
Well, and it's very funny. It's very funny for like Silver's character, which is that he's like, I'm here to save the world, and he just got dragged into the most Archie Sonic Archie story he's ever seen, and he doesn't know how to process this.
Yeah. And so he goes like, he tries going like, okay, so Rob, wait, which one? And he's like, and I love, he calls Amy ma'am. He's like, man, can you tell me? and then finally he goes, enough, and he just freezes everyone in place. Which again, if we're power scalers, I don't really care much for what you do, but like we do have to acknowledge that Silver just single-handedly stopped Sonic, Shadow, Scourge, and Metal Sonic and 2 Amy's just in one go. It's pretty cool.
Really strong. He's really fucking strong in Archie.
Yeah, and then I think there might be a page missing from my copy because I can't find it. But he goes enough, and then Sonic goes, "Who wants to know?" So I feel like I'm missing a page where he goes, "Which one of you is Sonic?" But it's not in here.
Yeah, you don't have that. Yeah, because then the joke is then he's like, oh yeah, like, you know, which, you know, I'm Silver. I've traveled from the future. I'm here to find the Sonic so I can kill him. And then Sonic and Scourge point at each other and say, "That's him."
No. I have that. That bit's great. But it goes straight from Silver going enough to Sonic going, "Who wants to know?" And that
I think that's just simply because he's like I think the joke is that everyone's ignoring Silver. So like Silver's going around like, "Hey, I'm trying to." It's like, do you know where I can find? It's like, hey, okay, enough. It's like, all right, well, who wants to know like where Sonic is, right? So it's just gonna be like, who the fuck are you? What do you want?
Yeah. And then, like you said, Silver goes, "I've journeyed from the future so I can find Sonic and destroy him." And then Sonic and Scourge both point at each other and go, "He is."
And Sonic goes, "It's a technicality, but still."
And then we watch the fucking dial-up logo go over Silver's head as he goes, "Okay, so wait a minute. So this robot over here
is Metal Sonic.
They call him Metal Sonic, right?
And he is blue.
And of these two, this one's blue." So then he throws him into a wall. And then Rob, he points an arrow at Silver and he goes, "Hey, whoa, back off, buddy." And Silver goes, "Sonic, how'd you get behind me?" That was funny, Ian.
Sorry. I missed the joke because I'm stupid.
No, because he looks like Sonic.
And no, yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, point being, Silver, he's like, Rob's like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, and Silver's like, okay, I know this looks bad, but in the future, one of the freedom fighters destroys the world. He's like, in the future, one of the freedom fighters destroys the world, right? And I didn't really do like any research exactly, but
it's got to be Sonic, right? He's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's like the only one of them that has like powers. So he's like, I don't think Antoine with his like sword is destroying the world. So it's got to be the guy with superpowers, right?
Yeah.
And Rob's like, "My guy, maybe take a chill pill for just a moment. Because Sonic's actually a pretty cool guy."
He looks like me after all.
He looks exactly like me. So I do wonder if the colorist on this, because Sonic, at least in my copy, he's a very desaturated blue. Whereas Rob is more of like kind of a brighter, like kind of greenish blue. I don't know. I'd just be curious to be the colorist on this. Yeah. I didn't see any, but I do wonder if there were any coloring errors in this. Especially since you have so many similar looking characters. Like that's the whole premise of the story.
Well, it's even funnier too because Flynn manages, like, the only reason that first page is there is just so he can also have Uncle Chuck, Jules, and Bernadette, so he can have all the hedgehogs in one issue.
I didn't think about that. That's fun.
Yeah, because there's no reason to like have a scene or like he informs Sonic's parents. Like that's not necessary. It's just so they're in the issue.
Okay, wait, let me think. Did we miss anyone? Well, no. I'm not like they shall not be named. Manic. Anyway, I guess oh my god, can you imagine if Silver had like a plucky little sidekick who was and it was Manic? like Silver had like a Scrappy Doo-esque character who looked kind of like Sonic but smaller, and he was like, "Oh, I'm Manic the Hedgehog. Oh, what, you gonna kill my dad? Oh no!" Like,
I mean, I think it would be funny.
that would be funny. I think
Yeah.
you know, now that I say that, you could do something with that. But like the pathos of like he's got to kill his dad. That'd be cool.
And then Sonia's there, and she goes, "I'm Julia White."
Well, but she's not a hedgehog.
No,
Well, no, I mean, the one in the show is, but the one in the comic is not.
that's
so
true.
I guess Sonic isn't here either, but he will be in a couple issues.
Indeed.
Point being, everyone's fighting. Scourge goes, and I quote, "Nice powers, kid. Use them to get a less stupid haircut."
I love Scourge.
He's great. And then but so it just devolves into chaos, and then Sonic's like, "Okay, wait, Metal Sonic, time out. If you help me beat Scourge, then it'll be a lot easier because all this shit will have died down for you to try and kill me." And he's like, "All right, I see what you're going for there."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, Silver, it'll also be easier for you to kill me if we take him down." And he's like, "Okay."
And then and he's like, "Rosie, it'll be way easier for you to kill Scourge, who we all want to kill, if we kill him together." And she goes, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, he's exactly. It's like you get the final smashies. Basically, you get to kill him if you help us. And so they all circle Scourge. And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go get."
He's like, "I think this is bullshit, personally."
Yeah. So he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go get the game genie."
I do appreciate that they made sure to, because like they're all obviously surrounding him, and obviously you could say Silver fucking grab him, but obviously the point is that as soon as Silver would go to grab him, he would run. So, but they made sure that he does not run past Silver. He runs through Robbo the Hedge and them. So he's not like, it's not like he ran past Silver and Silver just for some reason didn't grab him.
He definitely runs past Silver. What are you talking about?
In the position where they are, he runs past Robbo, and then Silver is just like coming behind him.
Okay, well, let me look at this. Okay, yeah, 'cause he runs. Okay, so actually, do these positions make? Okay, so he runs. Okay, wait. So he'd have to run between Robbo and Shadow for the next panel to make sense, and so you could.
And then
say
the other ones
Silver,
are just kind of like rushing him towards him, basically.
Yeah, and you could say Silver like kind of flies up, and it goes there. Although, to be fair, Silver's powers do work beyond like 3 feet. So I would say you could maybe still try instead of going right for like the rocks. But
I mean, I'm going to give them the benefit of comic time and just say that Scourge is way farther ahead.
but yeah, so he runs to the throne, and okay, wait. So he runs. Sonic and Shadow go to get him. Sonic catches up with him, spin dashes him, and looks like he knocks his glasses off. But in the next panel, they're just like back on, and he's sitting on the throne.
I guess he caught them.
I guess. But he's like, dude, but Sonic's like, dude, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 7 of us, and there's 1 of you, asshole. Like, just give up. Like, we're gonna kick the shit out of you. And Scourge goes, well, you see, here's the thing. My throne is stocked with Anarchy Barrel,
which is the cooler version of Chaos Emerald.
Yeah, I love that name. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And Sonic's like, oh fuck. And then we get
the coolest super form ever, Fight Me, shows up.
Excalibur Sonic. But anyway, Scourge has his infamous line, or famous line, however you want to say it. All hail the king, baby.
He's so stupid. He's great.
I love him. That's that.
I'm stupid, so I didn't know this until like Lowart pointed out. Purple is the color of royalty, so he is now really a king.
I thought it was because it was the negative of green.
I mean, that's the reason he's purple. But I mean, like, him being purple that's a royal color. So like he is now even more so like a king, which is cool.
That is cool. I also just hold on. That negative thing doesn't work for any characters except Sonic and Scourge. Wait a minute. Oh no. It's all falling apart.
Isn't that why Shadow's supposed to be like chrome until they like fuck it up and make him gold?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, so it does work.
That's just Sega being stupid, and then they did your boy Silver dirty, and they just said he's gold too.
Well, no, Silver's like white. He's like white with like a gold tint.
Oh, did they make it a little different? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, Silver in 06 in the original like art, he's basically white. Okay. Which I guess doesn't work either for the scheme. But what's the opposite of gray?
More gray.
Well, no, yeah, I guess the opposite of like an ashy gray would be like a lighter gray. So like, maybe it does work.
Yeah, maybe they thought about it.
Maybe. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog number 196.
Like almost an hour into this.
No, we're not. Oh, no. Okay, let me just check my notes real quick. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. One of my notes is Silver, you dumbass. It's okay. I still love you. Oh yeah, Scourge doesn't get a transformation sequence. It'd be cool if
he's just super cool.
But he should get like a cool, like magical girl-esque like transformation sequence.
No.
Okay, but imagine.
I mean, if it were animated, yeah, it'd be really cool.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, I do think it is more terrifying that you have just the aura on Sonic's face, which I really appreciate they did. Like, they actually showed like the glow on Sonic's face as he's like transforming, and then you just get the big image. So I think that's cool. I think it was worth it for the terror factor. The transformation would be more so to be cool, but for like the actual like sheer like you're supposed to put together like, oh fuck, oh no, you know.
Oh yeah, I never noticed the purple glow on Sonic's face. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's just some sort of like a glowing effect. I think that works way better than actually seeing it.
Also, really fun. The pages mirror each other. So on the bottom of the previous page, you've got Sonic's face. He's got like a cocky grin. His eyes are like narrowed, because he's got the upper hand on Scourge because he's gotten all the different hedgehogs rallied against him. And then they have a very similar image on the next page where it's a close up on his face, but his eyes are like wide with terror as the purple glows on him. That's really cool.
Yes. This comic is well done.
Yeah. You know, I think I like it.
I think it's pretty good.
But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog number 196, Scourge Goes Super, Hedgehog Havoc Part 2.
It's a great cover, by the way. Like, I love that cover.
Yeah, Sonic looks fucking... He's not doing great.
No, like if I saw that in a store, I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Which is what they want.
Cool.
So.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although, I'm curious. First of all, okay, a couple things. First of all, Scourge's sunglasses also change color when he changes color.
And his jacket turned to blue flames.
Oh, yeah, it did. That's cool. But also, are there any official images of Super Scourge without the crown?
I don't think so.
Huh.
But I mean, it looks really cool.
It does look cool, but that's the thing. I'm wondering, would it look as cool without the crown?
I think so, because the glasses are pretty great.
Let's Google it. Super Scourge.
No crown.
All right, images. Fucking Bing. Hold on. Okay, I see the vision. Yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah,
I got. Anyway. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's really cool. There's a cool render of Dark Silver and like the related images. Let's say
audience, are you enjoying this? These images you can't see.
Yeah, you can go. They are just as capable of Googling Super Scourge without crown as any of us.
I like the energy.
Also, I'm not even Googling, I'm binging because I've lost control of my life. because I use Edge, and for some reason Edge is the default one's Bing because it's Microsoft. And I know you could probably change it, but like I haven't gone in. What am I doing? What is this? What is this show? What? People listen to this. Anyway, Hedgehog Havoc Part 2. Tails looks fucking pissed on this first page. It's really fun. I mean, everyone looks pissed, but Tails is like, he's typing on the keyboard because he's trying to like get the portal back up. He's like looking over his shoulder, like scowling.
He hates that British bastard.
Yeah, but he's not even. Is he? The way
That's
his eyes line up.
I mean, that's how I read him in my brain.
Oh no, yeah, Miles is definitely British. Or he affects the British accent. But no, it like the way his eyes line up, it kind of looks like he's not even looking at Miles.
It's kind of like he's looking at a Boomer.
Yeah, and also like Patch, what the fuck is this face you're doing? I don't like it.
Is this is my I killed your dad face?
Yes, this fucking I killed your dad face. Why don't they just kill him? I like. Surely, if the freedom fighters went to like Alicia and they're like, look, can we just have one? Can we just have one?
So I think this is either like a really, really good coincidence or Flynn thought of this. I think it might be a coincidence because it's really funny because they don't mention it explicitly, but or maybe it's Flynn because they do like kind of set it up. So at the end of the issue, when they're all kind of going their separate ways, right? Because they kind of just like to minor spoilers, they're kind of just like, all right, the suppression squad are like fucking told to work for Scourge. Fine, you can go today, wink wink, you know, and they just kind of leave it and they don't want to deal with it. The only character who is not there in that ending scene is Patch. So either Flynn forgot to write him in the scene, the artist forgot to draw him in the scene, or hopefully they remembered we should at least like arrest that guy. So they removed him from the story.
Oh god, I hope so. That'd be really God, that's my headcanon now. I love that. He's in like he's in like a gulag underneath the castle. He's not even in the prison with the other prisoners. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no. So they get the portal back up and running. They go through, and Patch and Antoine have like a little dick measuring contest ? Where he's basically like, you know, I might accidentally kill you while we're fighting the other guy, and he's like, oh yeah, well I might kill you. Like, this is whatever. And they go and they're like, oh fuck. Because Scourge has just laid everyone out. And it's also fun. They call him King Super Scourge in his little text box.
Yeah, it's fun.
Kind of harkening back to what you talked about a few episodes back, about how like they used to, whenever they would talk about someone, they would say like they'd go like, oh, Supersonic has to do this. So Turbo Tails has to do this. Yeah. I don't think anyone ever refers to him as Super Scourge.
Yeah.
But at least the narrative does that, which is cool.
It's fun that they keep that. You know, it's very nice of him to lean Silver and Rob next to each other. That's nice of him.
And it was even more nice of him to
you know, it's even funnier. I like the idea that because Metal Sonic, you can't sleep, bro. You're a robot. So I like the idea that he's pretending.
I also like if I'm just gonna go full hog with it, no pun intended. I like the idea that he's also kind of a Shad Amy shipper. So like when he was like tossing them around, he was like, and Amy, you can go there. That's what
he's like, where do all the characters match? And he's like, all right, Rosie's like her own thing. Metal Sonic, I'll deal with you fucking later. I don't see Metal Scourge, so you're a loner. You two came together, and then Shadow and Amy, they could kiss. And he puts him to the side. And he goes, and you know who I'm gonna kiss with my fist, and then he punches Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this image is pretty great. Yeah, and then oh my god. And then Scourge goes, his first line is, oh good, fresh meat to soften my knuckles on. And then he goes, well, the first thing I have to do is punch a woman. So he goes,
of course. And he has to do it all saying ladies first.
Yeah, he says ladies first. Then he goes, how's that for Southern comfort? I love him.
So good. No, his best line though is he grabs Sally. He goes, "No, Rotor Princess, your team is the same old level of lame without him." And then Sally goes, and he goes, "Wow, Sonic! How could Sonic resist a wit like that?" Ha!
That's great.
Just so fucking mean.
Yeah,
it's like you're so stupid. So of course Sonic likes a dumb broad. That's what he's thinking.
He is.
You know he's thinking it.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's thinking a lot of things that we probably don't want to say on this podcast.
Yeah, like he says fuck and they censor it.
Yeah, but we say that a lot. Anyway.
It's true. And then he starts beating his own guys and he's like, you want to lose the other eye?
Yeah. He goes like, what do you, yeah, you want to lose the other eye? I do love how it's just like a smackdown. Like, it's just a pure comic book. We all try and pile on the big bad guy and he just like walks through them.
I do like that he just walks over to Miles because it's always very satisfying when Miles is being like an actual like scared child. So I just love him walking over. He's like, and you, and he's like, no.
Yeah. But then my boy MVP, he's like, nah, look, I gotcha. And he's like, hey, kid, it's pretty impressive how you managed to like stop me for a minute, but I am still like invulnerable. So you can't really keep me for very long. And you get the moment I referenced before where he's like, oh, not bad, kid. And Silver's like, oh, thanks, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or I like to think he's still trying to keep like the cool guy persona because like based on his face, so he's like, thanks, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then he's like, his face on the next page is like,
yeah.
good. Yeah. Well, and then literally all you see on the next page is him going off panel, going, ugh!
Yeah.
But okay, and then Sonic goes like, okay, what's the secret weakness for being super? Which I mean in the games is just like
time limit.
Yeah, I guess, but that's not really a thing here.
Yeah. Well, there is a time limit, but how long will that be, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. In Archie, the time limit is always as long as we need it.
Yes, of course. Which is
because we've never.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, we've never seen a bad guy go super. Exactly. We've seen we've seen Enerjack, but we've
Mogul.
never seen we've seen Mogul, but we've never seen like a super Super Sonic has never fought like Super Shadow in the comic. So it's never been like, oh, I just gotta run out his like time limit.
Well, the closest is Hyper Knuckles when he fights that. And the back then it was how many rings you had. That was the time limit. Which was still 50. Because you had to collect 50 rings and 7 Chaos Emeralds. But that doesn't seem to apply. It's Anarchy Barrel, so who fucking knows how long it applies, right?
Well, and that's the thing that they say later. But basically the plan they ultimately sell, and Metal's dick, because he's like, well, obviously I can't kill him because he's invincible. So I guess I'm just back to trying to kill Sonic.
Yeah, and I like that his argument is like, well, Sonic, if you just let me kill you, then it's not a problem anymore.
And then Shadow, he's being a bro like always. And he's like, you know what? You deal with that guy. I'll take care of Metal. And so he just goes like, okay, he's got some stupid fucking thing in him. I bet I can use that to get him out of here. Chaos, and then he warps away. And I think it's a very fun detail in the comic that whenever he like warps in somewhere, he is always saying control.
Yeah, it's cute. I really like it.
Because from what I've seen of that Sonic X issue that we'll cover whenever we cover the Universe arc, I think he just shows up saying control, fighting Metal Sonic.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I like that detail.
Yeah. And Sonic's like, oh yeah, thanks, man. Like, yeah, they're bros. It's great.
Well, it's just nice. It's just I don't know. It just feels really rewarding given how in like this, in this continuity, Shadow's kind of like this loner who does, he doesn't really want to work with anybody, or at the very least, he's just kind of doing his own thing. He's very angry. So it's just kind of nice that like now we're at the point where like Sonic's his friend, and he's like there's like the part in last issue where he's like, Sonic, like, please tell me who I'm supposed to fight. Like, I genuinely need to know, right? And so like he just is willing to work together with people, which I really appreciate,
Yeah.
And it just feels like not just from like because in IDW he doesn't work with guys, so it's good now. Like it's just satisfying from Archie Shadow's perspective of like his narrative of like, yeah, he has a friend and he's like genuinely trying to help him out and like just be like a supportive friend and like help out and make sure like he makes the situation better. He's not like caught up in this idea of like, no, I'm gonna beat Scourge now because like he fucking pisses me off. He's like, all right, clearly we need to like settle things down. Like, will this help? And then he does it. It's just cool. It just makes Shadow feel really nice. So
well, but and like you said, it's obviously it's not like, well, this is not like IDW, so therefore it's good, but also like it is just bad in IDW, and this is good. Because the thing is, right, like imagine if in like an Avatar, right? Zuko, everyone loves spoilers for Avatar. Everyone loves how Zuko joins the team by the end, and they're like bros by the end, and him and Sokka have that arc where like they go to the prison, and they're like buddies. imagine how much less fun that would be if the whole time Zuko was like, I don't actually like you guys. Just to let you know, I don't like you. I don't. Like,
but I will, but I'll sometimes help.
Yeah, I'll help because fuck my father or whatever. Like,
Right.
but no, they do, like, that's what they do. They do something more akin to what they actually do with Zuko here with Shadow, and it's fun.
Indeed.
Also,
Anyway.
they've just given up any pretense of coloring Sonic and Rob differently. He's definitely not green. He's not like the green or blue. He's a very similar shade of blue. His eyes are the same green. We've lost the plot entirely. He's just Sonic in a cloak.
And then Amy and Rob make eyes at each other.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, and then Sonic's like grabbing Miles. He's like, let me go. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And he's like, hey, just tell me where the fucking anarchy barrel is. And Miles goes like, I locked it away far from here. So Scourge, so this wouldn't happen. So this exact thing you're seeing right now wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And Sonic's like, oh, I guess he's basically like, well, I guess in an unusual sort of like circumstance for him, he planned ahead. And Miles is like, okay, what if we went back to Mobius and you got the Chaos Emeralds? And he's like, we don't have them. They're in the special zone. Also, it's like, no, that's not an option. Also, I'd really rather not open the portal back up to the place I live while we have like an Omega level threat there.
It can blow up your home, not mine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'm gonna. Yeah, you can finish your point, and then I'm gonna go on a mega level rant.
Yeah. So, a couple more things. First of all, originally that's what I thought Miles was saying. Was like, can't we just shove him back through the portal to Mobius? Like, but that's no. He's saying like, go get the Chaos Emeralds, but also go get the Anarchy Barrel. Just give.
No. He is saying that. He's saying we can lure him to Mobius.
No. What I'm saying is, no. Well, what about your world? We can lure. Yeah, he says we can lure him to Mobius, and then Sonic goes. Besides, most of the Chaos Emeralds are locked away in the special zone. I thought the implication was he's saying lure him to Mobius so you can use the Chaos Emeralds to fight him.
Oh yeah, no, that is what he's saying. But also, that implies we're gonna have a super level fight on Mobius with Super Scourge.
Yeah.
And also, a reminder: these are the same people who were like, "What if we lured Scourge and Sonic to our world and then they shut us in there?"
Yeah. But also, just go like, "Hey, I put the Anarchy Barrel here, fastest thing alive. Go get it." Here's like the password or whatever to the thing I put it in. Just tell him where it is so he can go get it. Because Miles immediately resigns himself to death. By the way, when Sonic's like, we don't got the Chaos Emeralds, he's like, oh well, we're doomed. Like just say, okay, I put the Anarchy Barrel here, and here. Go get it, and we will try to not die in the meantime. I'm gonna hide behind that pillar while Silver fights him.
Like, to be fair, he might be like, all right, you need to go to level deck zone. And he's like, where the fuck is that? He's like, shit. Give him
you don't live here. Anyway, fair enough. But the point is, they don't try and go get the Anarchy Barrel, and so we got to try and fight him without Anarchy Barrel. Anyway, Ian, you go on your rant.
Yeah, so here's my rant. All right, so there is one thing that has always almost killed Archie Sonic, the good era. Not in terms of like making it terrible, but just killing like one level of like, because in any story, right, you have suspension of disbelief, right? But there are levels to it, right? You can have suspension of disbelief of like, oh, the characters were holding back, so like, Spider-Man's not as strong in this story because he doesn't really want to go all out, or the characters didn't think of this plan because they were really tired, right? But if there's something that's always looming in the background, you start to wonder, are the characters stupid? And it starts to break your suspension of disbelief, even if the characters aren't, even if like you can think of a reason that these characters aren't doing this. It's still annoying and frustrating that nobody's mentioning it and giving you an answer, because then you don't know. You just have to make a headcanon, right? Yeah. So the big one for Archie has always been, and it's very like no one's ever brought this up that I've ever seen. So like I'm the one who was cursed with this knowledge, but there is an answer, which is for every arc post Enerjack, why does Sonic not go, hey Knuckles, give me a warp ring? Step 1. All right, cool. Open Master Emerald. Tap. I am Super Sonic now. Beat up bad guy.
What? Holy shit.
Why doesn't he do it?
Because that's cheating.
Yeah. So for years, I've been cursed with this knowledge. I've thought of this, and like the only ways you can like before this issue answers it, but the only ways you could go about it is just kind of just from the perspective, well, they just must not be able to do it because there's like a scene later when he goes to Knuckles in the Mecha Sally era where they're literally standing in front of the Master Emerald, and he's like, I'm going to use the Warp Ring and go over there, and Knuckles is like, that's too dangerous. Knuckles, why doesn't he just touch the fucking Master Emerald, go super, and go in there? So the only thing you could ever think is that, well, Eggman has technology where he's captured like Enerjack before, right? And so like that means like they just don't want to like risk it, right? But again, that's not said. That's not said in the story, you know? So the only thing I could ever like rely on is that in Knuckles, like, and by the way, this is all bad writing on Ian's Flynn part. He should clarify this, but there is an answer. So,
okay,
which is that in the Sonic universe, with Knuckles, Ray talks about he like goes on the Master Emerald and he tries to go super or whatever, like to scare off like these little dingo guys, and they go, "Holy shit, you can go super!" And he goes, "No, no, 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 no." And he goes, "Yeah, like Knuckles said, everyone reacts to the Master Emerald differently. People also react to Chaos Emeralds differently. Like Mogul has one and he's immortal. Sonic needs 7 to go super for a temporary amount of time, right? It's random. You know, Scourge goes on the Master Emerald and he becomes half super, right? So it's all random magic bullshit, which is fine, because then you can work around it and stuff. But he says like, certain people can only tap into it, you know, a certain amount, right? So my headcanon was always, okay, maybe it's that for that one time Sonic was able to do it. He was able to tap into the Master Emerald and go fucking super. It's just the one time. And Finitibus seems to also think like it was a one-time deal. But again, that's not clarified. What I need hard fucking evidence that in universe, they know this is not an option. And this is the scene. It was not intentional, but this is it. This is the one that allowed me to sleep at night, which is that they say, we're going to fight Scourge, right? And they start listing, what are the ways we can fight? And Sonic only says, we don't have enough emeralds to go super, which means that they cannot use the Master Emerald right now in this instance, because it seems to be that it was a one-time deal. This is the one part that semi-clarifies it. Thank you.
Holy shit, I've never thought of that. I mean,
yeah, there you go. That's my rant.
I've obviously...
Bad writing on Ian's Flynn part. He should have fucking clarified this immediately. And also, if you, my friend went back to the old forums, and he does say in one of those forums, someone was like, "Hey, if Sonic can use the Master Emerald," and he goes, "Well, you know, emeralds work in mysterious ways. So the real question is not can he do it? It's like, could he do it again, right? So like again, Flynn's kind of posing this question. Clearly, he had this in mind. He just forgot to write it in the fucking story. So this is the one scene. Thank you, Miles, for saying, "Hey, we need to go super to fight Super Scourge." And Sonic goes, "Here are all the reasons we can't do that." Because any power is locked away, and the ones we do have are with bad guys, and the Master Emerald's not mentioned, which means they cannot use the Master Emerald. So there you go. Thank you, this stupid fucking scene, for clarifying one of the biggest plot holes in the entire series.
Okay. First of all, I've never... I mean, I've thought, like, I guess I've always thought, like, yeah, Sonic can use the Master Emerald to go super, but the thought of, like, him basically going over to Knuckles' house and being like, "Hey, can I borrow your printer real quick? Because I'm applying for this job and I need to you know, be able to print off my resume, but like, you know, with the power of the gods." But I've never thought about why he doesn't just do that like every time. Well, you could also argue that wasn't just the Master Emerald. That was the Master Emerald plus Finitibus curse.
No, you can't. The curse,
what do you mean
because he specifically says, why can Sonic go super off the Master Emerald? My curse makes it so you can't use its power, period.
Okay, but Sonic has his chaos factor, remember? Which is why he was able to do it at all, with the curse in place. So maybe that when the chaos factor works in such a way that he got on the Master Emerald and the curse interacted with it and was like, "Hey, this fucking thing's trying to stop me from using it. Well, guess what? We're gonna super use it, no pun intended, and we're gonna have Sonic go supersonic." And then but you can't just do that.
What the fuck, Flynn? Anyway, that's my rant. So thank you, Hedgehog Havoc, for literally allowing me to sleep at night, because that was a thing that haunted me for years. I was just like, I just have to believe that in universe they know why they can't do it, because otherwise why would they never do it? They never ever a single time mention that they should try this. No one ever says it. So I'm like, it just has to be that they know and Flynn forgot to write it. And I'm like, this one scene is the only halfway connection where they're like, we have to go super. What are the ways we can go super? Sonic lists the only ways are with super emeralds or chaos emeralds, which we do not have. Therefore, they cannot use the master emerald reliably. Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
We got
okay. How long have we been recording?
Definitely over an hour.
Oh gosh. Anyway. And I keep clicking over to Twitter because that's where you sent me the link, and I keep seeing Elon Musk's dumb fucking face. There's like a repeating GIF. Get out of here. It's all bad. We're recording this on January 20th, audience, just to fully break the immersion here. So Twitter is just a fucking it's a cesspool every day, which is why I try not to go on there anymore. But now it's even worse. And I'm just clicking between tabs, and I keep clicking it, and it's like, yep, there's that fucking waking nightmare that we've. Archie Sonic, that truck number 196. Anyway, my boy.
Why doesn't Sonic just go to Knuckles and say, "Can I use the?"
He's a little busy right now. Also, let's say for the sake of argument, he does that. Then then Sonic goes super. What happens with Scourge? Because now he's got the Anarchy Barrel and the Master Emerald. What if he turns into Hyper Scourge?
That'd be fucking cool. Why wouldn't Sonic let him do that?
Because they die.
Take that, atheists. All right, moving.
What?
What's Sally's plan?
Sally's plan. Sally's plan is because she knows Silver's the MVP. She's like, okay, Silver, you hold him down, and we're all gonna dogpile on him. It's a fucking Ben 10 episode. They're like, we just need to wait for him to start beeping, and then he's gonna turn back to normal, and we can beat him up.
By the way, people get on Sally for this plan as if this isn't like better than literally any other plan they could have had. This is actually a good plan, which is just hold him down so he cannot move. Yeah. It's, I mean, because there's no other plan. There's this there is no other plan. It's either die or do this. So
yeah. The only other option would be run away, and slight problem, he's Sonic. So but yeah, so they try and hold him down. It doesn't work. He bursts out, and then Sonic just goes fall down as he keeps hitting him.
I really like it.
Yeah, and then there's a fun bit where Scourge just flies out, and you can see like the trail just going all the way out of the castle.
It says like lightning strikes.
Yeah, the lightning strikes. He just throws him down. He's like, I fucking hate you. Like, it's almost an odd kind of like the I'm the groin scene from Sonic 2, where he's like, you know what? I don't care about any of those other chumps, really. It's just you and me. I'm just going to take you out in the rain and fucking kill you. So Sonic, he tries to like run away, and he's like, okay, what the fuck am I going to do? So he's because he's like, okay, I gotta wait for him to revert, I guess. But like, we don't know how long. Yeah, we don't know how long it's gonna be, and he's gonna fucking kill me. Like,
yeah.
And what he ultimately rests on is something kind of flimsy, which is he goes, okay, I can't I'm done. Like, I got nothing left. But wait, when I turn back from being super, I get like a little power boost. But this isn't Mobius. This is anti-Mobius. And okay. And so Scourge is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done. I'm killing you. You die now. This is stupid. And then Sonic's like, and then we get a great panel of them both silhouetted against the lightning.
The lightning like surrounds Sonic.
Yeah. And this is the panel you used for your thumbnail for your why Archie Sonic is the best Sonic, right?
Yeah, because it's like the best Sonic face I've ever seen. Like, it's the most like shit-eating grin expression you could ever have. It's so good. Because his whole plan obviously is to depower Scourge and see if it works. That there's a downside because he's like, there's no downsides to being super. So if we're in the opposite of that, maybe there's a downside to being super in this world, right? Now you mentioned the so the way he gets him to do that is he basically Scourge at the end of the day is just an insecure child. So he's just like, who the fuck cares? Yeah, you can beat me or whatever. You're like God or whatever, a king. But like, I could beat you without super. So that's kind of a win for me. He's like, fuck you. I could win even when I'm not super. He's like, all right, fucking do it, buddy. And it's great. It's the most amazing face I've ever seen. So the reason this scene works really well is because you brought up the one part of it that's flimsy, but thankfully it doesn't matter because the logic still holds up. Which is the part that's flimsy is that it is never in like the entire series. It's Super Sonic gets like a fucking boost when he gets off super. That's made up. Flynn made that up. So the reason, like, so people get hung up on that sometimes, not usually, because like it's so cool anyway. But the reason it works regardless is that his logic at the start is not that. His logic is there's no downside to being super. And he goes, even when I leave, I feel great, which like is true. Like in this universe, we've never seen like, how like when Aang powers down from the Avatar state, he like passes out. We've never seen that. So Sonic's logic is there's no downside to being super. In fact, like I feel great, So there must be a downside to being super because this is the opposite world. That logic holds up, which is just simply, if Supersonic's the best thing on my planet, there has to be a downside on this planet because what the fuck else what could there be? I'm going to risk it, So him having like this in-universe logic of like, I get like a power boost or whatever. That's fine because he also uses like, like in our world, we only get 7 Chaos Emeralds. You guys get a bunch of Chaos Emeralds. So he's just using the logic of there's got to be a downside because you're the opposite, right? So if Supersonic's perfect, there has to be some negative to you having it. The specifics he uses are like flimsy, but the actual like internal logic, what he comes to, where he's like, what? How could I win? That's fine. So to me, like Flynn didn't even have to add in the idea of like I get a little boost. All he had to do was just be like, there is no downside to being Supersonic. You're Supersonic. He's like, oh wait, but this is anti-Mobius. He's an evil Supersonic. Maybe, because that's the point. At the end of the day, it's a risk. He's taking a chance. And the reason it's really cool is that Sonic is able to get that chance because he uses what he knows about himself and also about Scourge, which is that Scourge is me. And, he's going to get fucking ticked if I talk down to him, So to me, like the whole scene, it still like works really powerfully. I just kind of wish Flynn had like tossed out like part of the explanation. Like what he should have done is stuck to the heart of the reason Sonic wins and not lean into like, okay, but I need to give like a technicality, like actual reason. It's like, you didn't need to, you just needed that we're negative Supersonic.
Yeah.
But regardless, Scourge comes crashing down and we get an amazing scene. You can go ahead.
Yeah. What I was gonna say about the first of all, I just always took their word for it that Supersonic gives them a little power boost.
No, that's not real.
I guess,
Flynn made that up.
I guess just because I hadn't read all of Archie Sonic up to this point.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the part of it that I found a bit flimsy, but now that I think about it a bit more, I guess maybe not, is he goes, okay, surely because it's the opposite, he'll get the opposite after effect of what I get. Except he doesn't get the opposite of being invulnerable and being able to fly. But
that's why he's like, yeah, but like your super form seems like stronger and better and faster. So there's gotta be fucking something.
yeah. And ultimately, like you said, and what it always has been on anti-Mobius is it's not a perfect like mirror opposite. Like there are some things where it's like, oh well, Rosie wants to kill Scourge because Amy wants to like marry Sonic, and like Robotnik's like a good guy, but also like Buns is now a good guy, and she's got like a disease and like that. Like
they're also not like gender swapped or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like so, like you said, it's a risk. He's like, well, and I guess it's this or nothing.
Yeah.
And
the way he gets that chance is through a character thing, which is that he knows how to get under Scourge's skin. So it's all based on character things. Flynn just uses details that he did not need to retroactively justify it for people who would like nitpick it or whatever. Yeah. Which then makes it worse in terms of like if you do try to nitpick it, because Flynn, you're fucking lying to me. I know that's not true. But the actual logic he uses for Sonic in the scene is really, really good. And again, it's great because it ties into the characters. So which is what you want,
Yeah, no, the bit's great because he just appeals to Scourge's ego. Like Scourge has to be the biggest, baddest guy ever. Like he has to be. He has almost a Metal Sonic thing where he's like, I have to be the real one. And he's like, well, you're not the real one because you needed to be super. He's like, you had to use cheat codes to bait me, so like, fuck you. You're not the real one. And he's like, I'll show you how much the fucking real one I am. He turns back, and yeah, he's like completely worn out because the emeralds have like burned him out.
And then we get. Can I talk about this one?
Sure.
Yes, and we get probably one of my favorite Sonic moments, which is like Scourge is like, Sonic gives this big rant. He's like, haha, this is how I won. I'm fucking cool. And then Scourge is like, oh yeah, you like cheated and you're a nerd and I'm a king. You're fucking nothing. And then Sonic's like, oh, I hate you. Like, you're so annoying. And so he destroys his crown. And I just really love it. He literally like just bullies Scourge. He grabs him, pulls him into his face. He's like, listen, you fucking nerd. You're a bully. You're a big, dumb, idiot, stupid poo-poo face. And you know what fucking sucks? You! And then he throws him into the mud. But yeah, like what I really like is that Sonic gives like this big heroic speech, right? Where he's talking about, he's like, because he sees like a lot of the things he sees in Scourge is he doesn't like Scourge because like he said when he first met him, right? He's like, you are all the things that, like you could be a good person or whatever, but you choose to be a fucking asshole. And you have like all these excuses, right? Or like you have these things of like, oh, I'm a king, I'm this great thing. It's like, no, at the end of the day, you're just some asshole, right? And you try to like lean on everything that makes you special. And no, what makes me special, what makes me me, and like what makes me better than you, fucker, is that I rely on others and I team and we work together to make something bigger and better than just us. And what I really like about this is that obviously on the heroic side, that's really nice, right? Oh, Sonic, Scourge, you work alone, but I work for the bigger picture. That's great. But what makes it Sonic is that he also is doing this because he fucking just hates Scourge. like my final line, he could have ended, right? He could have said, like, the good guys always win in the long run, right? But then he has to add, and there isn't anyone who can run longer or better than I can, which is great because then he's literally pointing towards himself and being like, also, I'm fucking better than you. And it's great. And that's what, to me, like, that's what makes Archie Sonic so interesting is, people will kind of point to like, I've seen people bring this up of like this is an example of like Flynn giving Sonic these big heroic speeches and Sonic wouldn't give these speeches, which I agree. Game Sonic would not. Depending on which version of Game Sonic you like. But what I really love about Archie Sonic is that it is that mix. It is that mix of like, no, this is a world where Sonic does genuinely have a team. He has people who he relies on constantly. That was the whole point of the issue 177 and issue 175. So Sonic genuinely does value having teammates and the value they bring into his life. So one, it has value in the sense of it's not just like, oh, the power of friendship. It's like, no, Sonic genuinely believes that. But then from Sonic's character perspective, he's a fucking asshole. And he's like, also, you suck, nerd. Get in the dirt. I'm better than you. Fuck you. and that makes Sonic feel like a rounded character, which I really love. So,
yeah, no, it's a great moment. I don't really have anything more to add than what you said. It's just nice. It's just nice seeing Sonic be able to be like, no, you suck because you're a big jerk, and it's also cathartic because I mean we've spent
so long with Scourge.
Yeah.
All Scourge is doing is just throwing a temper tantrum. So it's fun to finally see him be treated as the little asshole he is, little bully. Yep. Also, I think my favorite expression for him is in this, which is if you look at his face when Sonic is pulling him into his face or whatever, like his like ears are kind of down, like he looks almost embarrassed. It's not like he's looking at Sonic like he almost looks like a little afraid, and then he also just kind of looks like it's like, oh shit, like you're being really mean to me. like it genuinely feels like this is finally the moment where like he is made to like face who he is. And I really like it. Just that one expression of like his ears down, his eyes little, and him just being like, you are a bully. That's it. And he's like, oh fuck. It's great. I love it. So
I agree. Also, I'm thinking about it right now, so I'm gonna say it right now because I'm gonna forget if I don't say it. For any of you, if you would like more Scourge content, well, first of all, you can go to
Ken Penders, where he has released a new Scourge wallpaper that you can buy on kenpenders.com.
Has he really?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he drew a picture of Scourge. It's on like his Twitter. He drew a picture of Scourge with like angel wings, and he's like in a wall of fire, and he's like flexing. He's got like thunder thighs for the ladies. It's great. You can buy it for like $25.
Hold on, I gotta see this. Okay.
That ass.
Oh my god. I really hope I remember to edit this in to the video so everyone can see it. This is the funniest thing I've ever fucking seen.
You can buy it for like $25. So
what is it like an NFT or like a wall
scroll? No, it's like it's like a wallpaper or something, I think.
Well, when you say wallpaper, I usually don't think of like the actual wallpaper. I think of like something like for your computer. Also, wait. Oh god. Wait, he's beefing with
it's a print. That's what it says.
He's also beefing with the replies because
it says printed on a quality cardstock, so it's physical. You can actually buy it. Continue.
Yeah, well, because there's something about Scourge that I've always found kind of interesting and kind of shitty on Ken Penders' part. Again, generally I side with Penders, but this is one thing where I think it's a bit wrong of him to claim ownership of Scourge because Scourge is so different from Evil Sonic, which is what he actually did create. And someone brought that up and they go like, oh, that's interesting take on a character from Ian and Tracy. And he goes, from my character, go ask Ed Brubaker, who Marvel considers the creator of the Winter Soldier. And it sure ain't Ed Brubaker. Why? Because he took the character of Bucky, created created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, added a mechanical arm, gave him amnesia, made him an assassin. Same thing. Okay, but I would argue Ed Brubaker probably should get credit for the creation of the Winter Soldier, Ken. It's not good that Marvel did that.
Yeah. Legally, I'm correct, which is the best kind of correct.
I guess. Anyway, we still have a whole other issue. God, this sucks. Anyway, Sonic's cool. He beats Scourge. He pushes him in the mud like a nerd. And then, yeah, Moebius, the next day, they go and wait. Yeah, so they teleport back to Mobius, I think. Yes, they do. Okay, so Bunny, Evil Bunny, carries the Star Post so they can do that. Yeah, and then we see... Okay, so let's see. So we see Alicia, we see Miles. We don't see Boomer either, though. We see him help fix the star thing. But we don't... Oh, but I guess we don't see Patch anywhere here, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He is nowhere. So, like, either the artist forgot, or Flynn remembered, and he was like, we cannot have Patch here. I do not have enough page space to wrestle with the idea that they should obviously not let him go. Like, regardless of any of the other guys, right? Because you could argue, like, oh, they were forced into it by Scourge, right? Even though they're fucking assholes, but, like, fine, we'll let it go. But, like, Patch killed someone from their planet, and more importantly, killed someone from their planet who's the father of our friend. So, like, we should do something about him. But we don't have enough page space to let him go, right? And we don't have enough page space to make it cathartic that I don't know, we just arrest him off screen, you know? So I like the idea that he's just not here. He must have known to bail. So.
Yeah. Also, Rob looks high.
I think you're gonna be like, Rob looks hot. Anyway.
No. Hi.
By the way, I think it's very cute that so Sally's thing in the previous issues, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna set Sonic and Amy up on a little date because she wants to go hang out with Sonic. And I do like that she is, she's not jealous of Amy for glomping onto Sonic. She's like, oh, that's cute.
Well, I mean, she saw her teaming up with Shadow earlier. She knows what's up.
Yeah, she knows the long-term plot.
Exactly.
She knows not to respect canon.
Exactly. Thank you.
All wrapped around. See, that was the point of that setup we did.
That makes us seem a lot smarter than we are. So yeah, let's go with that. But yeah, and then so Sonic's like, okay, what's your name? Steven, Simon, whatever. So are you still gonna kill me? And he's like, Silver. By the way, the funny joke I was making was
later
other S names in front of Silver. And he's like, I kind of just kind of figured you were the guy who killed everyone, but I didn't really have any like evidence. So boy, there sure is egg on my face. So I'll be back. And Sonic goes, have fun with your dystopian future or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting here because Sonic right now is just like, this is just another thing I have to deal with.
It's very funny because he's like, I'm trying to save like your future of 3,000 years. Sonic's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I have so much to deal with.
Well, but I also think it's interesting because right now he treats like Silver kind of like an annoyance. Whereas later he will be very nonplussed with Silver's shenanigans. But we will see that later.
Yeah.
And so Sally's like, all right, well, time for us to all go home. And Sonic's like, no, I got one last thing I got to do. I got to go see Sonic the Zone Cop.
There was one hog who wasn't at this party, and he's my favorite, the cop. All right.
That's a little problematic these days, but anyway.
That's what Sonic said. By the way, I do love that Amy says, wee! as she jumps through the portal.
It is great. But yeah, Archie Sonic, that's number 197. I love this cover. This cover is
one of the best covers ever in the series.
It's not at all reflective of what is actually going to happen.
But it's perfectly reflective of their dynamic, which is great.
Exactly. Which is the important part. But yeah, so we hop in. Also, Did you know we're gonna get a special Sonic and the Black Knight video game story
Oh
inside?
my gosh! You're right. Is that Elise?
No.
Oh,
What?
or Lena. Never mind.
Do all women same to you?
Anyway, doesn't deny it.
Oh, no. Okay, wait. Did I write anything interesting in my notes for 196 that I didn't say? No. But my first note for this is holy shit, Aaron Stone. Ian, do you remember Aaron Stone?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
Well. In the version of this I was reading, from my long box, it started with an ad for Aaron Stone, which is a really cool show on Disney XD about yeah, Disney. You remember Disney XD?
I do. They had played the latter seasons of Gravity Falls.
Yes.
I say seasons as if there weren't only one, but
there were 2 seasons of Gravity Falls.
Yes.
They had this show. The first show they had on there was a show called Aaron Stone, and it was like okay, so Disney Channel, that's got fucking Hannah Montana with her like singing bullshit, right? Well, Disney XD, we have Aaron Stone, which is about this kid who he's like a secret agent, and he's got all these like cool gadgets. He goes and he fights bad guys. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever when I was like, however old I was when it came out. I'm sure nowadays it is probably very poorly produced. Because the version of the show that exists in my head is way too fucking expensive for a Disney Channel show or a Disney XD. For not even a Disney Channel show. For Disney's like side hustle channel show.
It's awesome.
Anyway, point being, the actual comic starts with Sonic on the Cosmic Highway. Now, Ian, I don't think we've really talked about the Cosmic Highway on this show. Would you like to explain what that is for the listeners?
Yeah, so in the earlier issues of Archie, they just established this idea of the multiverse. And one of the things they did was Sonic would go across the like interstate superhighway or whatever, the multiverse highway. And usually it's depicted as like kind of like a magical road in like the middle of like a green sky. But I like that for this issue, since it's all destroyed, they kind of depict it as like an actual road that's like floating in the sky, and it's they're literally heading towards consequences to the right. But yeah, so it's just basically it's this magic road that connects the multiverse. And currently it's all fucked up, and we're gonna find out why. But this kind of whole issue is basically just meant to explain where the fuck has Sonic the Zone Cup, because he has not been around for a really, really long time. And one of his duties as a character is that he's supposed to kind of keep the timelines and like the different universes kind of separated and in check. Not like he did a very good job of that before, but obviously we're in the Flynn era, so Flynn wants to kind of address that and give like a story reason to it. It's pretty fun. So
also just a fun thing to know is that the layouts in this are by Tracy Yardley, but the pencils are by Matt Herms.
Yep.
And he does a very good job.
Yeah, and I want to say my one and only complaint with this issue, which is usually I don't like to do like, wow, the characters are real stupid. Why didn't they think of this? But this is actually like like unacceptable. So we have Scourge, right? Scourge runs fast. So do we put a pair of handcuffs, A, on his hands, or B, on his legs that are really strong and run fast? And they chose A. So, which is stupid and bad, and there's no excuse.
Yeah, but also in their defense, generally, when you arrest someone, you don't have to put handcuffs on their legs.
They only had one pair of handcuffs.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. It's not even like a big deal, because like if they had just given him handcuffs, you just have him wake up. He like fidgets off Sonic, does a spin dash or whatever, or like he does what he does here, where he kind of like moves around. Because like Scourge is like strong enough, he could just fucking like kind of like dash around. Because that could be the idea. It's like, well, he's not going to get very far. I'll keep him here. He can't run. And then Scourge just kind of like skidding around, and then you just have him break his things. So it's not like one of those things where like when you have a plot hole in the story, and then it's just like, well, the story just couldn't have happened without this. Like, it could have happened. It's just kind of like a lame, like, wow, if only Sonic's hands had been slightly stronger. It's like, I don't know, maybe just put fucking handcuffs on his legs.
Also, Ian, do you have the issue in front of you?
No, I can pull it out.
If you have it physically, please look at Scourge in the specifically in the like character thing, and see if you could figure out something wrong with him.
Okay.
Actually, maybe it's just the setting I have on my monitor, but he looks this particular problem is pervasive throughout a lot of this, actually, from what I'm seeing.
Archie Sonic 197, right?
Yes.
Because I have a website that just has the comic scans. Like it scans it off of like an actual.
Is it called the Internet Archive?
No, it's called Read Comics Online. It looks green to me.
Okay. Maybe it's my computer. Well, no, because my computer has settings that limit blue light. But he looks more blue. He looks like he just in the other stuff I could get like, all right, if I squint, there's some green in there. In the character thing, he is just blue. Okay, wait, hold on.
Are you colorblind or something? Like, not even as an insult, just like actually, like maybe like is that happening? Because like you've had multiple times on this this podcast where you're like, I feel like the characters are blue, and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Hold on,
I just sent you the image.
What are you talking about? He's fucking blue.
Oh my gosh, I think he's colorblind.
Again, I have, you know what? Let me look at this on my phone. Because I have specific settings on my computer that
episode of Adventure Time where he's like, I got the red rock, and he's like, Finn, that's green. He's like, what? He's like, oh, you're colorblind.
Okay, no, he's definitely green on my phone. Okay,
thank goodness.
What? Am I a fucking lesser person if I were colorblind?
No, because otherwise I'd feel really bad if I'm insulting you. I don't mean to.
I was saying, thank goodness is a very weird reaction to have to someone saying they're not colorblind.
No, I was trying. I'm fuck. No, I was trying that way.
Hashtag cancel waffles 2025.
Do not cut that. If I'm gonna be an asshole, I'll take it. Anyway, no, he's not green.
Scourge, who may be blue or green, breaks out of the handcuffs, and they're fighting. But some people show up to arrest him. Who is this? We'll see in a moment. Because Sally, she's got some splaining to do.
Indeed. This is the best part of the issue.
It's great. Because she's like, okay. So Hamlin has got a fucking hate boner for the freedom fighters. And we're gonna find out why a little later. But basically, he's like, you had one job, Sally. You have one job. We told you not to do one thing. And what did you do? You did the one thing we told you not to do.
Yeah.
And that was you fucked with Scourge. We told you not to fuck with Scourge, and you fucked with Scourge. And she's like, but I mean, we won though. And they try and get around this like technicality, right? Because Mrs. Prower, my lady, talks about gives some explanation. There also is the problem of that Elias had full knowledge and gave full consent for Sally to do this.
Yeah.
And she's like, and what's her name? It's not. I keep calling her Mrs. Prower because I want to be respectful. Rosemary, thank you. Like side eyes Elias, and he's like, I'm starting to think that the Royals are up to some shenanigans here.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I mean, and she's like, well, no, I was put in charge of Sonic's punishment. And so my punishment for Sonic was to let him do exactly what he wanted to do. Anyway,
yeah.
And okay. And so Hamlin's logic is, so you were punishing him under your authority as leader, not as princess, because now we have a democracy. So the princess has no authority.
Yeah. At least not in this scenario.
Yes. And so I do love Hamlin's little pose where he puts his hand out.
Yeah, he's got it. He's figured it out.
Yeah. And so he's like, so the field leader who answers to the council is admitting to going against orders from the council with authority that does not supersede the council. And Sally goes, crud.
Yeah.
I love this panel. I love her facial expression. Just the ... crud is great.
Hamlin is just right.
Oh, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, like he like in the story at the end, Sally's like, no, he got me. He fucking got me. I just strong-armed everyone.
Oh yeah.
And
we'll get to that later.
We'll get to. But no, I think I'll save all my thoughts for when we finish this storyline. We can continue to Sonic, unless you had something.
I think the only thing that would have made this crud panel better is if it was a swear. is if it was like ... beep.
I think it would have made it too funny.
But it's
if she actually said it, that would have been cool. Like if it because obviously if it weren't a kid's comic, if she just went shit, that would feel like you'd feel like, oh, I feel you, girl. But because it would have to be censored, that would make it too funny, I think.
That's fair. But yeah, so we meet Zector and Zespio, the Zone cops.
Yes.
They're like, you two are under arrest because the multiverse is on lockdown. You're not supposed to be on the cosmic interstate. And they're like, all right, and Sonic's like, all right, well, I gotta talk to Sonic about some shit. And Scourge is like, I would also like to talk to Sonic about some shit. And so they go and they're like, oh, what the hell is going on here? This is madness. And
Scourge goes, could look better, and then he decides to make it worse.
Yeah, and Scourge is like, you dummies, and he kicks Sonic into them.
And also, by the way, I think it is very, very funny that they have the guns to Sonic and Scourge, and then Sonic's like, sure, I'll go, and then Vector goes, whoo, thank you.
Oh yeah, he's like, dude, we cannot fight them.
Yeah, I like the idea they have their little guns, and it's just like, oh, maybe the guns are, they do something, and they're just like, oh shit, thank goodness, thank you.
Yeah, but so Sonic's like, go get me something to help me be upright, because I can't remember if that was a thing before.
Yes, because they're in the perpendicular zone, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Which that was why Sonic, every time he would show up in our dimension, he would be that way, because the idea is that they are the universe that cuts through all the universes. So if you have the parallel universe, they are the perpendicular universe that cuts through them all, which is really fun. That's a fun idea. It's fun.
I'm just trying to remember if, whenever we went to the perpendicular universe, if they were just always sideways. But
yeah, the only time they ever go is when they go to see Sonic with Mammoth Mogul.
Yeah, it's when Tails sucks Mogul into his ass.
Yes, but I think for that one, I think they were in some neutral zone, because remember they also went down the hallway and there were all the Tails or whatever. So whatever, some shenanigans, the room functions differently. Who the fuck cares? Yeah.
Anyway, point is, yeah. But then we kept Scourge is gonna go wreak havoc, and so they're like, oh shit. Then we come back to the council, and Sally and Hamlin go back and forth. And Hamlin and Scout are dead to rights. It's like, look, it doesn't really matter. Oh well, we that it worked out. Yes, it worked out this time, and the greater good was service this time. You still went to get out and Star Authority and against orders. We have laws.
Oh, hey, sorry, real quick. I went to issue 150, and Sonic gives them special wristbands so they can go into his zone.
Oh, good. You're a trooper going back to 150 for the cause. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no. So that is a thing that Flynn is calling back to. That's really cool. So
that's cool. But so basically, Sal's like, all right, fine. Then I'll tell you what. The next time that me and the Freedom Fighters are out in a life or death situation, I won't give them any orders until I've been able to talk to you and make sure that every single thing I do has been properly approved by the council.
Yeah.
And then, I won't order around the Chaotix either, because they're free agents. I wouldn't want to get in any trouble for giving them any orders that haven't been approved by the council. So I guess either we can do that. Every single little thing I do has to be micromanaged by you guys. I got to come back here, give you a call, or you can just let me keep doing what I'm fucking doing. She uses malicious compliance to get what she wants.
And it works.
Yeah. And everyone except Hamlin is like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, and I really like it.
Yeah, and then Hamlin is basically Sally's like, Hamlin, you were a freedom fighter. Why are you doing this? And he's like, you guys do. I'm fucking Hamlin. What do you mean I was a freedom fighter?
You tell me what my character is.
Oh yeah, I'm one of the freedom fighters. Did you see me in Endgame? Do you remember me from Endgame? I don't remember me from Endgame.
I don't remember you in Endgame because you're dead.
Exactly. But the point is, he's like, look, you never utilized me at all as a freedom fighter. I'm here so I can actually do something. So I'm gonna make sure I keep you people in line.
Yeah, and I like it. I think people get too much out of a bad, or it's the idea. It's it's just a petty grudge. It's no, but he genuinely, it comes from a place of he wants to make a difference. And so if the idea, right, is that oh, we have a government now, so people can actually make a difference. It's well, if that just doesn't apply to anything, then what's he says, then we become redundant. What is the point that I'm here, and so obviously it does come from a place of being like harsh, but it comes from a place of being harsh because he wants to do good, if that makes sense. Like he wants to have a say in like how to help people. Because he is just like a normal guy. He is just like a normal dude, because like Sally said, if you go back to his miniseries, he was just a guy who was being trained to be a freedom fighter. So he's not like Sonic. He's not like Boomer, who are like the original OG guys. He's just a dude who lived in Knothole and he wanted to help. And now he's here, And so that's where I really like it, where like she's like you were never forgotten. He's like, don't placate me, Like I really did want to like help people. And like, if I'm gonna make sure that this can go, the way that it actually will work out, and like I'll be able to make a difference. So I really like it. Like I don't think Hamlin's just like vindictive of just like he doesn't actually care about doing good, Because again, he's fucking right. Everything he said is correct.
Yes.
And that's why I think Sally, like the reason I really like this stuff. One, like anyone who's just like, oh, like why are there fucking politics in Sonic? I hate the council. They're in this story because the story is about like fighting a war and like having like the people and the characters actually have things to do. And one, it's one scene, by the way, it's a B story. But it's fascinating. It's interesting because it means that there's actually conflict within the good guys. And I would understand if like these types of stories like lasted really long and it just took forever to get anything done. But no, this is in the cooldown period while you have an action adventure Sonic story going on. I love the council. I love how it shows that like I love that Flynn like kind of boldly was like, you know what? By the way, democracy is not all that great either. There can be infighting. There can be at the end of the day, it's just people trying to deal with each other. And so like I really like the idea of the way that Sally gets through to everybody. So she kind of strong arms them. And if Hamlin had, if he like, she really fucks him over, and Elias does the assist because Elias, like after she says her statement, Elias is like, okay, are we all for dropping the charges? If Hamlin wanted to, he could have pressed this and said, whoa. What she just said is that she was going to use her power against the people, basically, that she would not protect the people in a life or death situation over a petty grudge, right? He could have said that.
Yeah.
And so like the idea, like what she does is she swoops in with this really like definitive statement. And of course, everyone doesn't want to like, prosecute her because they're like, well, no, obviously we know Sally has their people's best interests at heart. And she is competent. She is doing this for a reason. Her plan worked, and she has been fighting for everyone for a really long time. So I really like it. Like, it's just a nice little example of like the way this conflict is kind of being set up of like these two sides wanting to do good. And again, Hamlin's not wrong, but also it's not that big a deal, my guy. Like you could have at least just said, hey, next time, like, come to us. Let's kind of discuss this or whatever. But no, he wants to make a big deal out of it, and he wants to make like he says she might get arrested, right? Or she might be put under more strict things or whatever. So it's just really interesting. It's really fascinating. And again, I like that Flynn made sure to make it clear at the very end, like, wow, Sally, that was incredible. You like fucking convinced everyone. Or like you had like you beat Hamlin. She's like, no, I didn't. I just convinced everyone to let me go.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. And it's I've seen people also like talk about like well, like Sally at the end of the day, she just basically strong armed everyone and doing what she wanted. It's like, yeah. And if Sonic did that in a situation like this, you would fucking eat it up and think it's cool. Get off her ass.
Exactly.
So yeah, I really love this little storyline.
Yeah, exactly. But then we cut to the no zone where Sonic and Sonic have kind of converged. Sonic's got a thing to help him stay upright. And so Sonic's like, what the fuck is going on here? And Sonic gives him the spiel of like, oh, the multiverse is under attack by Eggman, the other one. And Sonic's like, oh, I think is Sonic Rush canon? Kind of. Yeah, I met him. And so Sonic's like, all right, well, we gotta. And so Sonic's basically like, look, we weren't able to intervene because we had to keep things stable, and we only have a couple zones open. Yours, which is obviously why Moebius was able to. People from Moebius were able to travel back and forth to his world. And Sonic's like, all right, that sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so they get Scourge. They literally just shoot him they just throw a collar on him that takes away his powers. And they're like, all right, you're done. Like, yeah, like Sonic gets like one hit in before he's taken down, which makes sense. Obviously, Scourge has gotten the shit kicked out of him. I wouldn't imagine he's got much juice left in the tank.
No.
But yeah, although I think it's funny that Sonic, when he sees like Scourge get the collar thrown on him and fall to the ground, he goes,
yeah, it's like, did we kill him? It is really funny.
Yeah.
And I really love Sonic not taking any shit. Or he's like, hey, so I don't know if you knew this, but my Eggman's also not from my world. Go arrest him. And he goes, no. And he goes, fuck you. Wrong answer.
Well, okay, now we get into my big issue with this issue. Sonic, you've seen Sonic since issue 75, and you have not brought this up. Again, remember when Mogul got sucked into Tails' ass? You didn't mention this then. Like you've never like. Why is this only now a thing that is coming up?
I mean, I buy it since it's the situation is just simply, well, I got to take Scourge to him. He's like, you know what? Now that I think about it, where the fuck has that guy been? So I totally buy the idea that since issue 75, because that's what makes Sonic so weird, is that I think like they kind of stopped like dealing with him for like a really long time. So I kind of buy that Sonic is just like he just didn't think of it. And then he's like, wait a minute. I'm taking Scourge to him right now. Where has that guy been? What is going on?
Yeah, and then Sonic spouts off some mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, like look, the comic's called Sonic the Hedgehog. You need a Robotnik. Fuck you, bye.
Exactly. He's like, you're Sonic Prime, not the show. You're the one true Sonic, and so you have to fight a Robotnik.
Bye.
And yeah, and so bye. And I love to think that what Sonic does at the end of this is kind of like a little fuck you to Sonic. Where he's like, oh, do I have to fight a Robotnik? I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll find out about that when I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I do appreciate that, like, you know, because Flynn often will like engage with like critiques of the story, right? And then he'll have like a character, like for example, the big one with Sonic and like letting people go, right? And those usually feel, I think, unsatisfying because the characters never really give like a definitive answer. It's always just like, it's like, oh well, you know, Sonic, like maybe sometimes people can live and sometimes they can't, and Sonic's like, well, maybe that's true or maybe it's not. I don't know. It's my principles, you know. And that feels unsatisfying as the reader because you're kind of wondering like, well, where is this coming from for Sonic, right? And so I appreciate that at least with this Sonic, they make it very clear that he's like, look, this is the reason. And Sonic goes, that's stupid. What you just said is stupid.
Yeah.
And then Sonic is like, what do you want me to do? I'm fucking leaving. You know, so at the very, like, it feels like in universe, it doesn't feel like the writer's hand or like pulling the characters apart. It feels like in universe, the character's like, Sonic, I am not going to do anything. Like, stop. And Sonic's like, no, you get back here now.
Yeah.
So like the characters feel in universe, and it feels like it plays into the idea of like, life's not fair. Sorry, Sonic. That's your lot in life. Which I like. I appreciate it. So I appreciate like, because Sonic doesn't just say like oh, like why do you have to do this? He physically grabs Sonic. He's like, hey, you, why?
Yeah.
You know. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that Sonic is at least aggressive about it. You know. So
yeah. And then Scourge has an interesting line where he's like, hey, one last thing. He goes, you can try to write me off, mutation, evil twin, whatever, but the truth is I'm Sonic the Hedgehog has full potential. I maybe beat this time Blue, but I'm not through yet. Which is just an interesting kind of line, because the whole point originally of him taking on the Scourge moniker was like, no, I'm not evil Sonic. I'm not him. I'm not some like cheap copy. I'm Scourge. I'm my own person. But now you could almost read this as kind of going like, no, I'm Sonic. Like, you know, I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's like kind of like, he's kind of reframed it in the sense of like, I'm like, like I'm the best version of Sonic, you know, yeah. like being Scourge is the best version of like, because, well, I mean, to be fair, he just said like, oh, you're Sonic Prime, right? So in his head, he's like, hey, don't write me off as a knockoff. Like I'm evolved. I'm way, you know, if I'm his knockoff, right, then whatever. I'm the greatest like knockoff there ever is. I'm the Sonic, you know. So it's just kind of him once again trying to kind of restate, you know, what his identity, which I think is cool. So
yeah, but so then Sonic goes home and his parents are like, oh hey, this is some crazy shit that just happened. Yes. And Sonic's like, you know what, that motherfucker just said I gotta always fight Eggman. You know, I'll show him. We're gonna go get Eggman right now. I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go stand up. I'm gonna go get him.
He just runs.
I'll never have to fight him again. I'll just fucking take that, Sonic. What's gonna happen? Are you gonna come get? Are you gonna come break him out of jail? He's like, I have to fight Robotnik.
That would be really funny if Sonic did that. He just sneaks in and he has his little lock and key. He's like, don't tell anyone I did this. Whenever Eggman goes insane, he stops by to give him therapy. Yeah. So I gotta help you out, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically Sonic's like, we're gonna go get Eggman. Or his exact words are, she goes, do you have a minute to rest? And he goes, just one. Then I'm hoping to finish one more fight.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Which I guess makes sense because the Eggman Empire was crippled by Enerjack. So like, if there was ever a time to do it, it's now.
Well, if you remember, that's what they were doing until Scourge attacked. They were literally working on it, and then Scourge showed up, and they had to deal with him.
Exactly.
So, and
then Snively's talking to his Discord GF, but then suddenly he gets called down to the lab by Eggman, but he doesn't call him Snively. He calls him Colin.
Yes.
Which is Snively's first name.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "What the fuck did he just call me?"
Yeah.
He's like, "What? He hasn't." He's like, "He's never called me that." I think he might be a few screws loose of a badnik, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so Snively, but he starts going like, "Oh yeah, this guy's off his rocker." So it's like, "Oh, what are we gonna test? Some stupid like egg minnow or egg rabbit?" And then it turns out like, nope, it's an egg phoenix. And I just realized the egg phoenix has Eggman's little glasses on it. That's fun.
Yo, and like the beak's like his mustache.
Oh, it is. That's fun.
Fun.
We'll see more of that next time.
Yep.
But now it's time for nighttime.
It's
literally just the opening of Sonic and the Black Knight.
Shorter and it looks worse. The end.
Exactly. It looks surprisingly bad.
Yeah, especially for like a Yardley story.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, to be fair, I think the humans look pretty bad. Sonic looks kind of fine, or like he looks pretty good actually. I think it's just especially like the shading looks really weird.
No, his proportions look weird. Like
they do in some shots for sure.
I don't know. Like the Knights of the Round Table look more or less fine, but it's like
if I read this, I would be like, this game looks like shit.
Yeah, Ian Flynn should not be credited as the writer here. It is literally they took the script from the game, cut out some shit. There's no difference.
Yeah. But also, I get it. I'm used to this stuff.
Wait. Yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, point is, go play Sonic and the Black Knight because it's fun. But yeah, that's Hedgehog Havoc plus whatever the fuck this was.
We took 2 hours.
Oh no!
We should probably end it now.
What's wrong with us?
What did you think of the arc?
It's good.
The end.
For all the reasons I said during the 2 hours. Okay, a couple things before we leave. First of all, pinned comment, good causes in there. If you can donate, please do. Second of all, if anyone can tell me why a blue light blocker would make Scourge look more blue than green, please explain, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Third of all, Ian, what are we doing next?
Do you want to do Sonic Adventure 2.5? Might as well.
Sure, that one.
All right, we'll do that one.
Okay, so but we're also gonna do Heart Held Hostage because those two are kind of connected. So we'll do what's that, like 122 to 125, I think.
Leave that out.
Yeah, that should be good.
Let me make sure. Archie Sonic 122. Okay, what's Archie Sonic 121? Okay, no, that's something with Elias. Okay, so 120. Okay, so we're gonna do 122 through 125. And it's gonna be really cool because that's I remember that being one of my favorite arcs, but I haven't read it in a long time. Will it hold up? Maybe.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, Ian, plug something. Plug anything.
Yeah, Ian Waffles. You can find me at Ian Waffles on YouTube. And yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching this horrible podcast that I extended for everybody.
Hey, what?
Your part was good, but I went on too many tangents.
We both went on tangents. I think I talked about Bing for a long time at some point.
I had many rants. I apologize.
It's fine. The people love it. They know they love it. Anyway,
right.
Yeah, come back next time for Sonic Adventure 2.5. Until then, wear clean underwear. Anyway, bye.
Bye.